I thought there's no way we can match our agents with leads. Now we have too many leads and we're over delivering, which is where we want to be. So our goal is, okay, well, how do we get our agents to generate leads? Well, we're actually using a Boomtown system now, so we can track and we can get our SOI built in so they can start generating their own agent leads to bring into the team. That's how the lead matching has worked.
Hi, I'm Brian Icenhower, and today I have Noah Bailey with me from St. Augustine, Florida. Noah, thanks for being with us today.
Hey, Brian, thanks for having me.
Yeah, Noah runs a real estate team in Northeast Florida, in the smaller town of St. Augustine, and does quite well, quite a bit of market share there. The team closes 165 transactions per year, and the team's composed of Noah and 5 other agents and 2 administrative staff members. I've worked with Noah now for less than a year. Boy, have we been through some rapid changes, haven't we?
We sure have. Absolutely.
Yeah. Why don't you talk a little bit about what those changes were like and some of the things that we put in place, and then we'll talk a little bit about, how those are working for you now.
So I've been a licensed agent for 16 years here in St. Augustine. I did grow up here. So started in real estate and got busy enough where I knew I needed a team. And so I started with 1 admin. Before working with Brian, we had a decent market share, I would say. Successful, but kind of not really know what we're doing in a lot of respects. And so when we hired Brian, we had 1 admin and we had 2 other buyer's agents. And that was about 8 months ago or so. And so since then, we've rapidly grown our team and we've put systems in place, which we did not have before. We basically had no SOI that we worked with. We didn't tap our sphere. We didn't build on a database. We took leads as they came and only contacted them once. We really were just kind of shooting from the hip in a lot of the things we did, yet being somewhat successful in the same way. So that's kind of where we've come, and we're in a great place right now. We're in a growth cycle, and it has its challenges while staying busy at the same time. That's kind of where we've been and where we're at.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we really stressed, because we are kind of now looking at a growth pace of about 30-40% increase in the team's production over last year. And I think a big part of that's the systems we put in place. There's been systems up and down from your administrative staff to even a hiring process to bringing on and onboarding administrative staff. I think that was because, boy, do you have talent in the administrative management position now. And that's phenomenal. And it's been a pleasure working with her as well, too. Adding, as far as putting some systems behind your recruiting, and that's increased your agent count a little bit, which is helping contribute to that growth as well too. And I think the most important is around your agents' production. Get into action quickly now, and they quickly not only start generating new business, they do it from their own sources of business. I mean, of course, they do get business from the team as well, but they tap into their spheres of influence, the people they know and they generate. And then you do a good job of holding them accountable. Your team meeting structure, your systems behind tracking, your online lead conversion systems combined with your SOI systems is really a nice. I mean, you guys, I will say that about you guys. You guys implemented so quickly. And you do get a little help from your wife, and she should get some. Erin should get some help here because she might have been the labor. You might be the looks, and she was the laboring oar behind this. You're the face guy.
That's probably true, but yeah. I'll take that.
One thing in particular that I really wanted to stress on of those systems that I think we implemented, and I have found over my career, a lot of teams don't know about this, is the matching standard that we put in place and how that dynamically changed both the culture and the structure of your team. You want to elaborate a little bit about that, about how that's worked for you and how that does work?
Sure, absolutely. So with that, we prior to putting that lead matching in place, basically just had a team with buyer's agents, and we went strictly off volume. We didn't go off units or anything of that nature. Basically, with lead matching in place, we now can track that a lot easier. And so we have a scoreboard that we've implemented. And with that, on our weekly team meetings, we go through the scoreboard and we're able to track everybody's business, where their leads are coming from, to whose leads they are, and whether they're agent generated or team generated. And so with that, we can implement a matching standard. So I will say when we started this process, it was hard for me I thought there's no way we can match our agents with leads. And to
I remember that.
we found out that's wrong. Now we have too many leads, and we're over delivering, which is where we want to be. We want to over deliver as the team. And so our goal is, okay, well, how do we get our agents to generate leads? And so we've implemented. We're actually using a Boomtown system now, so we can track and we can get our SOI built in so they can start generating their own agent leads to bring into the team. And so that's how the lead matching has worked. We're able to provide them leads, and then they're going to match us with leads that they generate through their own spheres, through their networks, to the people they know. And we feel that's a great way to motivate them. And it's a great way for us as a team lead to generate enough business for them. And it's a nice way to hold each other accountable. So it's been working great so far. And we're going to keep implementing this the rest of this year.
Yeah, I think it's great how it's worked. And I didn't even think about that. One of the big, benefits of your team too, is you did have one of your agents, Andy, become your lead buyer's agent on the team and step into a leadership role. And a big part of the reason why is because he was somebody that embraced all the systems, and he really did do a great job of generating business from his own sphere of influence. So when you brought on, so Andy does help with the recruiting and bringing on and training and holding the new agents accountable, so that when they come on board, they actually quickly have to learn about your systems, and we get them plugged into all of our ICC Online Learning Center courses. So they're quickly learning, and then they're being held accountable to both grow and contact people they know. So they got to be adding new people to their SOI referral database in your CRM system that you provide. We're making sure we're staying in front of them. We're contacting them on a regular basis too, and you track those on that team scoreboard so well. Then the matching standard really just tracks, each agent's production by transaction close, and how much of, like, let's say one of your agents sells 20 units in 1 year. It might track that, 10 of those were leads generated by the team, and 10 of those were generated by the agent. So they'd be agent generated leads, right? And that would be a perfect scenario, right? Because we've matched perfectly, right? 10 and 10. It never happens, but that's the perfect scenario. Typically what's going to happen is you'll find that the team generated leads will far exceed, as I've told you, I think probably 10, 15 times, the agent generated the agent generated leads. And that kind of keeps them held accountable, because oftentimes real estate teams will constantly and understandably want more income, right? But the problem is that if that turns into blame against the team, like, hey, I need more leads, or I need a better commission split or something like that, we get into a kind of a victim type of mode there. But if they're constantly aware that, hey, they're getting this much business from the team and I'm only bringing this much, they start to, self-discover very quickly that, hey, what can I be doing to generate more leads so that Noah and the rest of the team are forced to match me and stay ahead of me? So it really, really helps them stay focused on what they can do to generate more business. Because in my experience, most of the real estate teams out there, one of the biggest concerns is, man, my agents they're not generating any business. They're just dependent on me all the time. But that's not the case with you guys. And I think a big reason of that is you're creating, independent mindsets on a team, where the team helps them grow their own business within the structure, tools, systems, accountability, and training that you guys provide, which I think is neat.
Yeah, it's been really great. So I think with that too, there's that motivating factor. And so when we put the scoreboard up in our weekly team meetings, which agent is doing what with their leads? And so let's just say they are getting the same amount of leads. One of our agents is able to convert more and sell more for the team, but at the same time, he's doing just as well with his own leads, bringing his own agent generated leads into our team. So it's a motivating factor for the other agents to see that, number one. And then number two, the more he brings, the more we're going to deliver him. So it makes sense. And that's why we believe it works.
Yeah, it really does turn into like probably the best criteria for lead distribution that there is. If you look at all the agents on the team and let's say you go out and take a listing, which seems to be like every hour these days. If you go out to take a listing, you're going to give the buyer's side of that listing, because they need to find a property to buy, to one of your agents. You're going to look at which agent has the most generated from their sphere of influence. And that's the person that's pushing you to stay ahead of them, because you have to match them as well too. So you're rewarding effort and you're rewarding results from that effort. And it's really hard for anyone else on the team to argue that, because it's another major problem that I always hear about from real estate teams is, well, it's not fair. That person gets all the leads, or I'm not getting the good leads. Well, here it's within their control. You can push and force the hand.
Correct. And I will say that an agent generate a lead, or one coming from myself to my buyer's agents, or one of their leads coming to me. Typically, that's an easier lead to handle or transition. So you're getting a kind of a better handoff in both directions than here's a lead that came in on one of our paid sites, and you've got to convert. Well, the converting process is done. It's a nice handoff. So that's the motivation as well.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I love it. And thanks for kind of revealing that matching standard and everything you've done, Noah. It's been wonderful working with you. I can't wait to see where we continue to go in the future as well. Again, keep at it. Get back out there. I think you got you're trying to juggle 46 listings, and it seems like about 2 listing appointments a day right now in the winter still.
Yeah, we're starting nurturing a little early. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks, Noah.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate your time.